الله الرحمن الرحيم كافها يا عين صاد ذكر رحمة ربك عبده زكريا إذ نادى ربه نداء خفيا قال رب إني وهن العظم مني واشتعل الرأس شيبا ولم أكن بدعائك رب شقيا وإني خفت الموالي من ورائي وكانت امرأتي عاقرا فهب لي من لدنك وليا يرثني ويرث من آل يعقوب واجعله رب رضيا يا زكريا إنا نبشرك بغلام اسمه يحيى لم نجعل له من قبل سميا قال رب أنى يكون لي غلام وكانت امرأتي عاقرا وقد بلغت من الكبر عتيا قال كذلك قال ربك هو علي هين وقد خلقتك من قبل ولم تك شيئا قال رب اجعل لي آية قال آيتك ألا تكلم الناس 3 ليال سويا فخرج على قومه من المحراب فأوحى إليهم أن سبحوا بكرة وعشيا يا يحيى خذ الكتاب بقوة وآتيناه الحكم صبيا وحنانا من لدنا وزكاة وكان تقيا وبرا بوالديه ولم يكن جبارا عصيا وسلام عليه يوم ولد ويوم يموت ويوم يبعث حيا.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Viewers of Max TV, you are welcome once again. It's another week and another session or another episode of Islam Today, your cherished program in which we discuss issues related to Islam today and how different we should look at Islam in the context of what is happening in the world. Islam has all aspects or perspective of issues that prop up, be it modern or contemporary. We bring in scholars who will give us an insight into how we should look at those things. And so you are welcome once again. Don't forget, it's a very interactive program, so if you are joining us, ensure that you keep your eyes on the screen and you will have the numbers there to share with us and communicate and share your thoughts on today's discussion. And as usual, I have a very special guest today with me who is going to discuss with us the applied higher objectives of Islamic law, or applied Maqāsid, for those who know the meaning of Maqāsid. And Maqāsid are the higher objectives of Islamic law. How is it applied, and so on. I have with me a very cherished brother and a senior, Professor Naail Dangigala.
Islamic name.
have to relax. And it's a very powerful name, and I need to be sure, Prof. How are you, sir?
Alhamdulillah.
Your viewers, Prof. How was the Salah?
Okay, Alhamdulillah. Yes, Salah is going. We pray that Allah accept our ibadah.
MashaAllah.
Yes.
Did you spend it in Accra?
Kumasi.
Kumasi?
Kumasi.
Oh, okay. You're proud. Okay. Why Kumasi?
We don't play with our
Oh,
Kumasi.
mashallah. I hope it's home, huh? Mashallah.
Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. Prof, we are going to talk about a very important issue, and that has to do with how we apply those higher objectives of Islamic law. That is, apart from being a Muslim, 5 pillars of Islam, 6 articles of faith, but there are certain things you call Maqāsid, and those things that you have discussed extensively about. Today you are going to take us into applying some of the, how are some of them apply, particularly when it comes to our dealings, right?
Yes.
But before that, I would like the audience to bear with me. The next 5 minutes or so, I would like Prof to touch on a very, very, very important issue that has just popped up about 2-3 days ago, and it has to do with us and the future of the country, and that is the youth. And so I beseech Prof to kindly talk about the issue that happened, these secondary schools, and of course for you, you are a head of an institution or inside, these are students, our brothers and sisters who are moving into, the tertiary from after this examination. But we had so many things happening in the last 2-3 days about certain indiscipline acts and so on. Prof, just some few minutes. What do you have to say about that?
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي اللهم علمنا ما ينفعنا وانفعنا بما علمتنا وزدنا علما. Thank you very much, Imam. I think you mentioned something I think is a mistake. I want to correct before I move on. You said I'm your senior. You're my Imam and my Sheikh. So that's the point of correction. Jazakallah khair. With the issue of the wasi, I think some of us who are not aware about it in the media is more or less they were complaining that when they went to write the wasi, I think that was they sent 2 days ago on the core science or integrated science that what they were promised. I don't know how possible is that.
Promise in quotes.
Yes, quotes that is going to appear did not necessarily appear, and for that matter, they are not happy, and they have to do something to show their unhappiness. And we think basically every level-headed person will know or will actually have to condemn that particular indiscipline.
Absolutely.
Yes, it's disheartening. Right? And then looking at these are the leaders of tomorrow. And if you have the leaders of tomorrow have to start behaving in a particular way like this, then it's very, very sad.
What really, Prof, what do you make of the actual issue that they were promised? I mean, as you said, quote unquote.
Yes, it's more or less what they thought is going to appear in the exam or in the books, in the manuals that they have.
Is that a norm?
That's
students should expect something in examination.
There are, when you look at generational studies, all right, the millennials, and the techno babies, those who are within this period.
Techno babies.
Yes.
Oh, that's interesting.
Right. Those who are within this particular period, these are terms that we call them, because they are born in the technology. And in technology, one thing with technology is that it has there's this challenge, all right, which we call techno stress. And techno stress is one of the key challenges of the advancement in technology. And what is techno stress? It's very, very simple. When you are dealing with Google, for example, even primary 5 kids, primary 6 2, primary, even 3 kid, giving him an assignment, he will just hold it. Hello Google, what is the chemical formula of this?
Okay.
And then quickly it pops up. And that tendency for things to get things quickly, easy, quickly, tends to affect their psyche in the sense that when they deal even with people, when they deal with parents, when they deal with the society,
they want everything
to
quick.
Get everything quick. Everything should be fast.
Okay.
So anything that delays, and that's the reason why some of those people, kids, I cannot call them kids, let me say students. Within that period of teenagers, when they have a bit of delay, or even if they don't have internet on their phone for one night, then they cannot sleep. So because of techno stress. So it's more or less that is leading them to behave that way, to think that even when I'm going for an exam, all the things I expect
I should have it.
I should have it. Everything should be quick.
That is an issue. That's a problem.
That is an issue, and it's actually one of the side effects of technology.
Okay.
But that does not necessarily mean that as a student you should take the law in your hands and start to misbehave in a particular manner, which is very unacceptable, to the extent of going to attack your own teachers who have taught you, attack the media, even attacking and insulting the president and others. It's very sad. It's very, very sad that if you have a leader of tomorrow, start behaving this way. Techno stress is a challenge, and that is why current organizations, are taught how to deal with the youngsters who are coming now into the workforce.
Okay.
When you look at the people who were born after the Second World War, more or less we call them like our parents, those who are in the 60s now, they also have a particular way of dealing. They have to deal with face-to-face. Generation X, Generation Y, those born after 1979, 1980, have a particular way of dealing. And those techno babies also have their own challenges. But nevertheless, issues of students taking the laws in their hands, and misbehaving in that manner is uncalled for. And we have to vehemently discourage it and condemn it.
Thank you very much.
So I think those perpetrators should be taken through the procedural, disciplinary procedure. I mean the what they call it, policies or procedures, in order to get the things to be rectified.
Right.
And for those currently writing the exam, I would personally would like to entreat everybody, you just work hard. You work hard, and then you pray hard. You have to combine the two. You work hard, you pray hard, you go in there, whatever you can do, you do for your best.
That's right.
Whatever you cannot do, you still have the opportunity to
right.
fix whatever. So pray hard, work hard, and we wish them all the best.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much, Prof. And that is coming from someone who knows it all. Board member of Al-Azhariya, right? Or Azhariya?
Yes,
I'm sure. So when it comes to students in Kumasi, that's in Kumasi?
It's Kumasi, yes.
Yes. And so when it comes to some of these issues, I think we'll have a time to come and discuss these things in detail. Yes, inshallah. Viewers of Islam Today on Max TV, you are still watching Islam Today, and today we're going to discuss a topic about applied higher objectives of Islamic law. We'll go for a short break and come back and go deep into our topic. Stay tuned to Max TV. Don't go away. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Viewers of Max TV, you're welcome once again to your cherished program Islam Today. We are discussing how do we apply the Maqāsid, or applying the higher objectives of Islamic law. That is the main topic of our discussion today, and I'm here with my own brother, Professor Naail Dangigala. He's going to discuss that, but don't forget, you can communicate with us, you can share with us your thoughts about this particular topic on the WhatsApp number that you will find on the screen. And don't also forget that this particular program is brought to you by the courtesy of A to Z Auto Servicing, as well as TCL Home Appliances and Techno Mobile, and also Star Times. Thank them so very much for that, and we go straight to our topic. Prof, Maqāsid Sharia. Maqāsid Sharia, which is of course an Arabic expression which means the higher objectives of Sharia. I think before the Eid, you discussed a lot about those Maqāsid and the 5 major objectives of the Islamic Sharia and so on. But today, I want you just to give us an applied scenario of how does it really work. That I'm a Muslim, however, it's not only about my prayers 5 times a day, my belief in the 6 articles of it, but there's something called also the objectives of all of that.
Yes.
Can you just take us through and give us a scenario that will make us understand this concept?
Thank you very much, Imam. With regard to the Maqāsid, or the higher objectives of the Islamic law, I think in the previous weeks we discussed the 5 main objectives.
Yes.
And we talked of the protection and preservation of life as the first one, and then protection and preservation of the deen or the religion, and then protection and preservation of wealth, or what we call hifzul maal.
Okay.
And then we have the protection and preservation of the intellect,
Okay.
hifzul aql. And then the very last one is the protection and preservation of the lineage,
Yes.
right, hifzul nasl. And these 5, according to Imam Shatibi and some other scholars, they said that even Imam Ghazali also has done enormous amount of works in this area, and they said that preserving these 5 main objectives brings social order and justice in a community, and not protecting these 5 lead the society into chaos.
Prof, so hold it on there as you go. I would like the viewers to note these 5 objectives down.
Yes.
And this statement you made at the end, that protecting them
And preserving.
and preserving them
Yes.
brings
Social
harmony and social
Injustice.
justice, and ignoring them
Yes.
bring chaos
In the society.
in society and indiscipline.
Discipline.
So please, protection of life, protection of the faith, protection of the intellect, protection of wealth, as well as protection of the lineage. Note these down and share with us. These are the questions here. Do you think that, yes, protecting them really brings harmony and peace, as well as neglecting them bring us distraction, or they bring us chaos and indiscipline? Yes or no? If yes, just share with us your view as we go on.
Yes. All right. So, and when you look at the integration of knowledge, which we spoke earlier, I think like last 2 months, right? When we talk of integration of knowledge, the revealed knowledge as well as the acquired knowledge happens in almost all aspects of knowledge base.
Okay.
So, looking at these 5 in particular, when you look at the protection and preservation of wealth,
Okay.
that area leads us into finance.
Finance.
Economics.
Okay.
Right?
Protection of wealth.
Protection of wealth. And in the protection of wealth, when you go in detail, what do we do in finance? What do we do in economics? Is all about, in finance, the basic functions in finance is to, the movement of funds from those who have surplus to those in need. That's one. Number 2 is the management of the funds, as well as investments of funds. And these are basically what finance does. But when we come to Islamic finance, we have 2 words here. We have the finance and we have the word Islamic.
Okay.
Conventional finance is separate, and we have Islamic finance.
Okay.
So what makes these 2 different when it comes to the protection and preservation of wealth? This is what I will discuss at the moment. I think,
so how to really align between what is known as the conventional finance, which is
Islamic finance,
the movement of money, and we know the banks and those things, and then the Islamic finance.
Yes, so in relation to protection and preservation of wealth.
Because I know the banks also, or those financial institutions that are conventional, they are also protecting wealth.
It's true.
So what is Islamic about? How would Islam
come in? Yes.
Yeah.
Right. So we normally say, in order to know something that is good, it's much better to know something that is very not good.
Oh, okay.
So let's see the challenges with conventional finance, for which we have an alternative, which is called Islamic finance.
Okay.
And Islamic finance, for your information, is one of the major best alternative to conventional finance. And that's the only two you can have now. You cannot say we have other finance here, or Buddhist finance, or any other finance, but you just have the what we call the conventional finance in the Islamic finance.
So when you say is the alternative best alternative, are you talking about substitute, or you are talking about the bits and pieces of those challenges or those things that are not so well there, then, or you are talking about a substitute?
Good. Conventional finance has inherent challenges.
Okay.
That even the conventional, those who are working in that sector, will tell you that they are in
looking
a particular period that they are looking for ways of fixing. I will not say is entirely bad, but we're going to just
mitigate the
whatever issues that are in there that are not good.
Okay.
You take it out, and whatever issues that are good over there, you maintain it.
Okay.
And what you take out, then you either Islamicize or Islamize.
Okay.
Remember, we go back to
yes, I remember. Yes.
And when we Islamicize, what does that mean? It's like something is not good, I sieve it out, take out the good one, include the Sharia components within it.
Okay.
So that it's Islamic.
Oh. Okay.
And the point here is, what then is conventional finance? And what then is Islamic finance?
Exactly.
Now, in conventional finance, is based on a particular doctrine or a particular philosophy of self-interest.
Okay.
And self-interest has roots into capitalism. And what is particularly capitalism? Capitalism, if you go into conventional economics, they will tell you, is more about one main thing, which is maximization of wealth.
Okay.
What I can do to maximize my wealth, regardless of the values within it, then it's acceptable, provided by law I don't trample on someone's rights.
Okay.
So whatever I have to do to maximize my wealth, I have to do it.
I'm free to do it.
I'm free to do it. And based on this, we normally realize that in the conventional finance, or even in conventional economics, is value-free. Value-free means we do not consider particular values. I don't care, either you're poor or you are rich.
As well as I can get money from whatever.
That's it. When I'm doing business and you come with the best idea in the world, I need a collateral from you. If I'm a bank, you come with the best idea for your business, I need a collateral from you. You don't have a collateral?
As far as you can give me the collateral, I'm fine. Else,
I cannot deal with you.
Okay.
But when you look at values, if you should really consider values, you realize that there are people out there who may have the best idea and they need human touch.
Okay. Just to be added to it.
To be added to it, in order for someone to say, okay, I don't care if you don't have a collateral. I use trust.
Okay.
Based on trust, I allow
you to.
That's one aspect that Islamic finance
brings
that conventional cannot bring. So we normally say conventional finance is based on what do you call it? Is
maximization of wealth.
Value-free.
Value-free, yes.
Doctrine.
Okay.
But Islamic finance is based on value-laden. There are quite a lot of values.
Value-leading.
Yes, within it.
Okay.
That we have to look at social justice.
Okay.
The second aspect is that the conventional finance is based on a particular doctrine or philosophy of self-interest.
Okay.
Islamic finance is based on public interest. You don't necessarily consider what you will gain within it. If what you will gain is at the expense of what society will benefit, then it's not possible. I mean, it's not acceptable.
Not acceptable.
In the conventional finance, provided you can make a profit,
it doesn't matter what happens to the public.
It doesn't matter what happens to the public. A very good example I can give you is dealing in pornography.
Okay.
Dealing in alcohol.
Okay.
Dealing in prostitution.
Okay.
Other countries
gambling.
Will tell you gambling. Other countries will tell you we have a law that allows prostitutes to operate.
Yeah.
So for that matter, anyone you want to go in there, I mean, to invest your money in there is your self-interest. You can do it.
Yes.
But in Islamic finance, is for the public interest. Doing that will cause more social illnesses in the society.
To the society.
And for that matter, God forbids it. And the Sharia forbids it. So for that matter, even if you have your wealth, you have the self-interest actually, but your self-interest shouldn't be at the expense of the public interest, which we call maslaha al-mursala. The public interest is very, very important in Islam. And that's why you realize, even in any aspects of our worship, anything we do in communal has much more rewards than doing it alone. Even in prayers.
Okay, come again, sir.
Anything.
Yes.
Even in prayers.
Even in your act of worship.
Whatever you do in communal, in a community or in groups,
yes,
is rewarding.
More rewarding
than doing it alone. And that's what we say, when you pray alone, you have one reward, but when you pray with the jama'ah or the group, you have 27 times of what you should have.
Prof, hold it on there with the 27 rewards. And the knowledge you are giving us, I'm really, really enjoying it. And our viewers are also following. But we shouldn't forget the 2 points made by Prof here with regards to Islamic finance and the conventional one. The aspect, I like the two aspects you mentioned, that Islamic finance is led by value, or value leading, or value led, right?
Exactly.
Whilst the other aspect is also that the public interest is very, very, very important and core in the Islamic finance. Before you go ahead with giving us more details or more examples about how the public interest is more prevalent or more important than the personal interest, let me read these messages that just took in before they overwhelmed me. This one says, this one's still asking about the great event. I think I've seen this question before. It's coming again. Waqia 56. You know, this is a question, but I think for your question, the name is not mentioned here. It's a topic on its own because it has to do with a lot of things that will happen before the end of time. And I think it's another topic that, but today, for instance, we are discussing the higher objectives of Islamic Sharia and how to apply it. So inshallah, we'll discuss that at the right time. Good morning. This one says, MashaAllah, I'm enjoying the program already. My question is it haram to get, okay, the person is asking about the earlier comment. Is it haram to get hints about exams that are for? Is it haram? Okay, I told my junior brother it is haram, but he asked me, why then did Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in Surah Al-Baqarah give Adam apple before examining Adam and the angel? I was confused, but I remember that inshallah Islam today will help. Will help me. I like that question. That Islam today will help me with a perfect answer. That is coming from Abdul Samad Farouk. Maybe you put a light, shed a light on that. Another one says, I'm really enjoying your discussion this morning, Islam today. Allah bless Professor with his preamble remarks. Indeed, our youth today are abusing everything at their disposal. We want everything quick. Our systems and structures are not working, he said. There is indiscipline across every sector of our land. May Allah bless us all. That's from Gideon, Malam, from Malam. Assalamu alaikum. The last one says, Imam, he said, please, as Muslims, so we should condemn what the students writing the exams did, and we should educate our Muslim youth and the importance of knowledge at every level. This Idris Almiya, Peace Ambassador, United Nations Youth Association Ghana, United Nations Youth Association Ghana. Okay, another one says, my name is Aki. Thank you for the work. Well done. God bless you. Okay, Prof, these are some of the interactions, particularly, I mean, they are just concerned about the initial remarks you made about. Somebody was asking, how will Apo be haram when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave Adam some information, according to the Quran? So how do you respond to this?
My response is...
Sorry for taking you off your topic, but at least let's share this.
That's fine. It's a normal question. All right. My response is very, very simple. I would want to ask, in Islam, particularly in the Quran, when Allah wants us to understand a scenario, He gives us an example.
Yes.
So I would want to set an example.
Okay.
And perhaps the brother who asked the question will be able to think.
Okay, Brother Farouk.
Yes, Brother Farouk will be able to think.
Someone Farouk.
Yes. My first question is, what does he think if all the students will have the apple? Not only one person will have it. If someone else should have the apple that he doesn't have, will he be happy?
Okay.
And if, let's say, we agree that everybody should have the apple, will that also work? Will he be happy? My second question, what if the one who has the apple is able to pass well, and he becomes a medical doctor, and he is sick and he goes to him, will he be confident knowing that he had apple before he became a medical doctor?
Or if he is the one who gave him the apple and
Yes.
he's sick,
Yes.
will he allow himself?
Will he allow himself to go back to the same person to be treated after he became a medical doctor?
I'm sure Abdul Samad will be thinking about these questions.
Yes. So you see, it's very simple. Whatever is good can stand the test of time.
Yes, and conscious will even tell you that this is good.
Exactly. What is not good will not stand the test of time. And I'll tell you something. Students who will rely on the apple in the senior high school and pass well and go to the university will have challenges even in the first semester. Because you don't qualify to even be able to go there. And I teach the university for almost 15 years. We see it all the time. Someone gets a very good grade from the senior high school. He comes to university the first semester, kick out. Because you are unable to meet the requirement. Even now they're kicking out, and I think changes has come that it's not that. But during our time, I remember during my class, we were 40 of us. 5 of us were kicked out. Meanwhile, they were coming from with one of the best grades. So imagine if it is a pop that you did, and you come, and then all this humiliation later, you go to university, and then you are kicked out. You have to go back. It's really not something that we should talk about. The issue of Adam, he quoted in the Quran, alayhi salam, that he quoted in the Quran. What is the definition of apple? Any apple is given so that you cheat others.
Yes.
Any apple is given so that you have an advantage over others. Now, what advantage did Adam have over the Malaika? What advantage did he have? The only thing is, Allah said to them, I'm going to create mankind.
Yes.
I'm going to create someone who will be a vicegerent on the surface of the earth. And then they ask a question, why will you create someone who will come and spill blood? And Allah says, I know what you do not know.
Yes.
So if you say Allah has given Adam an apple, it sounds funny, but it's a very serious statement.
Yes.
You are saying that Allah is trying to let Adam to cheat. And it's a very serious statement that shouldn't come from any Muslim.
Absolutely.
So I think instead of wasting time to go for an apple, it's better to save the same time
to learn
and learn.
Learn and work hard according to Prof
and pray.
And pray for the best.
I'll tell you what, before let me just use 1 minute.
Okay.
You see, they don't undermine and underestimate the value and the seriousness of prayers. What you can get out of prayers. Wallahi, you get up at the midnight as a Muslim, do tahajjud, pray very hard, and at the same time, you sit down, read your book very well, and
attend classes.
There are times that even some people, wallahi, will dream about the questions.
Absolutely.
Now, if you dream about the questions, this one, I can't say Allah is giving you the apple.
Exactly.
This is a real apple. Allah is giving you revelation.
Alhamdulillah.
But this is no more a revelation. This is not a revelation. This is ilham. The believers actually can have ilham. Allah can show you something.
Exactly.
In dream. But at the same time, don't only do that. There are other things that augment each other. Giving sadaqah. As a student, give sadaqah. Read your Quran. Do a lot of zikr.
Okay.
Be dutiful to your parents. And after that, get up and pray very hard and study very hard. And inshallah, you'll be successful. You don't need to waste your time on apple. I believe if the brother is listening to me, he will pick some points out.
Alhamdulillah, he has really picked something. And also, it's very deep here that you work hard and leave the rest to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. After all, Allah knows why you are there at that particular time. Relate to Him, go back to Him. In fact, He has the heart not only of yours, but of those who are even going to mark your papers. So why don't you commit your heart and the heart of all of them to Allah? That, look, Allah, this is what I'm able to do. And I've done all I could. I've studied hard. I have paid all my dues. I've attended classes. And I'm submitting myself to this. And
we should learn, we should expect particularly to our Muslim youth.
Yes.
We should learn prayers.
Prayers.
There is this prayer, which is a very powerful prayer, that before you enter any exam hall, try to say that prayer. And that prayer is Quranic.
Yes.
And that prayer came from the mouth of a prophet. And the prophet is Musa alayhi salam. When he was going into Fir'aun, earlier he was scared.
Yes.
That he did something that Fir'aun will hold him accountable. And Allah taught him. And when he went to Fir'aun, he did the prayer. Rabbi adkhilni mudkhala sidqin wa akhrijni mukhraj sidqin wa ja'alni min ladunka sultanan nasira.
Allahu Akbar.
It says, oh Lord, adkhilni mudkhala sidqin. Let me enter an entrance of truth. Wa akhrijni mukhraj sidqin. When I go out, when I leave, let me leave with truth. And he says, وَجَعَلْنِي, and make me مِنْ لَدُنْكَ onto your side, Sultan and Nasira. Not necessarily with them.
Yes.
I mean,
it doesn't matter.
I may look like I lose with them.
Absolutely.
But in your side,
in your own sight,
I'm a successful person.
MashaAllah.
And you can write the exam without an apple, you have a C. Someone has an apple, he has an A. But if your C is the most successful result of Allah, you will graduate and have a job. The one with the A will graduate with the best class, he will never have any job.
That's right. That is because you have committed Allah to your C.
Exactly. Because you have the C, you have committed Allah to your C. Your C with barakah, without apple, is better than the A with apple without barakah.
Prof, we need to reiterate that point again. The A and C, please reiterate it again.
The C.
When you sit at exams,
you work hard.
We worked hard.
You pray hard.
You prayed hard.
And you have a C. That Allah Himself gives you.
That you committed to Allah. And Allah gave you the C.
Allah gave you a C. It's much better than the A that you go and cheat others with the apple.
Without prayers.
Without prayers and doesn't have barakah.
Allah.
But having said that, does not necessarily mean work for C.
Yes.
When you aim high in the sky.
Absolutely.
So when you fall in the mountain.
Allahu Akbar.
Yes.
When you aim high to the sky.
Aim high in the sky. So in case you fall in the mountain.
You know, for the viewers, particularly our brothers, our time is fast. Yes. Particularly our brothers. This ayah you quoted for us, if they can just take it down.
Yes.
Learn a lot of I remember when we were in school. Also. They used to tell us that one of our professors would tell us, Quran has given you verses to read and pray for. Before you open his papers, in fact, he will come and share his paper and he will tell you, before you open my paper, read this and say this after me. رَبِّ اشْرَحْ لِي صَدْرِي وَيَسِّرْ لِي أَمْرِي وَاحْلُلْ عُقْدَةً مِّن لِّسَانِي يَفْقَهُوا قَوْلِي. You are committing not only yourself, but even those who are going to mark your papers, saying that, oh Allah, give me a broad chest, give me the ability to be able to write, and make it easy for my tongue. In this case, my pen. He will tell you, your pen, to be able to write. And let those who are going to mark my paper understand what I write. Simple. I mean, he just shared this with you, and he gives you that confidence. And he is the one who is examining you, and he asks you to do this dua, do this prayer, before you even open his question. And in Azhar, it's only 2 questions throughout the years. That's only 2 questions. Imagine you have about 4 piles of volumes and you have only 2 questions. So, but alhamdulillah, I think, Prof, it's a very good advice to all of us that it doesn't matter where you find yourself today as a youth. The challenges you are facing now are going to manifest into what will become of you. And so if you strive hard, work on it, and ensure that you work hard, you learn hard, as the Prophet is saying, and you pray hard. I mean, always commit Allah to it, because we are all creation of God. All these things that we are doing, I remember, Prof, the last time you discussed about everything that we do. Everything that we do it for the sake of our Maker. God would want me to do this, and so I would like it as God would want me to do. God doesn't want us to cheat others.
Yes.
When Adam alayhi salam was told about things to say to the angels, talking to about Abdul Samad Afaru, who asked the question, it was not an issue of angels and angels, because the human beings are not angels.
Not angels.
So,
exactly.
but these ones are all students, so you don't prefer one onto other. But those ones, these are angels created of light, and this one is a human being created of clay and water. But what Allah wants to tell them is that they had a pre-notion that the human being will come and create destruction on earth. Why? Because before then, the jinns were created, and they caused destruction because the jinns, like the human beings, they have the willpower to do or not to do. So when Allah wanted to create a human being to be a vicegerent, they thought that what the jinns did is going to come again for this particular human being, particularly when this is even a human being who is going to be the vicegerent of God on earth.
Yes.
But then Allah wanted to prove to them that He knew something they do not know, and that is the power of the brain and the intellect and reason. That I'm going to give him something to as a memory, keep to store information, that whenever I demand for it, he will bring it out and he will answer. So then that feature of having we call it random access memory.
Yes.
The angels, we say they have a ROM, but the human beings have a RAM. They can. So this is what our scholars explain. They can always pick up information and they relate. Yeah. Angels, when they are asked to do, they do straight and they forget.
That's it.
But so Allah wanted to prove to them that, look, you all knew all these things that are around me. But if I ask you about them, you cannot mention them because you don't have that aspect of you in you. So that particular incident has a lot of, wisdom behind it. It's not an apple. Please don't use the word apple because hashalillah. Allah cannot do that. It's not a proper thing to associate to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Prof, our time is fast, but I would like you to round up. You have about 2 minutes.
We can continue it perhaps hopefully next week.
Inshallah.
Yes, but then let me just summarize what I said.
Okay.
So that God willing, next week inshallah we'll
continue on our
have a very good start.
Okay.
So more or less we're looking at the Islamic finance.
Yes.
Which we say is an alternative to conventional finance, because conventional finance has some challenges which the current system in the world, the economic system, the financial system is looking to resolve.
It's looking for an alternative so far.
Yes. And Islamic finance has proven. Allah. And the proof came in 2 occasions. Okay. In 2007, 2008 financial crisis. Okay. Conventional banks collapsed. Some Islamic banks, or most Islamic banks, were alive. They
withstood the resistance. Allahu Akbar.
Similarly, in 2000, that was when the Dodd-Frank Act came, when Obama came into power, and it's because of what we call the subprime mortgage.
Wow.
Okay. Yes, the housing bubble that happened in the US, and the housing bubble issue is purely out of greed and moral hazard.
What really happened?
In brief,
yes.
The government, the American government, in the banks at that time came up with this kind of mortgage houses. The managers are supposed to get people to buy those houses. Okay. And when you go to when the person comes to you, the manager comes to you and says, "Oh, you can buy this house." "Oh, I cannot buy it because my salary is only, let's say, 2,000. They say, "No, don't worry. The interest rate is very low. It's 2%. You can buy it." Okay. And then the person buys the house with the interest rate of 2%, and that manager gets his commission. Okay. And then they do that, and all of them get their commissions after they resign, because they know very well in the future, since it's floating rate, is going to increase. Within a short time, it shoots up to, let's say, 10-15%. And it's someone whose salary is not enough.
So they knew definitely this person at the end of the day will not be able to pay.
Hey. So a time came where they couldn't pay, and you see all banks, whenever they have this mortgage, they finance it. Okay. We call it bay'adain in Islamic finance, right? And bay'adain is forbidden in Islam. That's the basic thing why Islamic banks at that time survived. Okay. In Islamic finance. So they will take this debt, collateralize it, and sell it to the finance company. Sell it to the insurance company, AIG.
So that means they are selling something they don't have.
Yes, which is something that you cannot also do in Islamic finance. No. You cannot sell something you don't own in Islamic finance. In conventional finance, it's possible. So they sell this collateralized debt to the AIG. Now, this person is unable to pay. They bring the police, they close the house, they send him back to the streets. And the house there cannot pay for itself. So what happens is the AIG insurance company cannot get its money, bankrupt. And since that goes bankrupt, it is the one that support the banks. Banks bankrupt. And banks bankrupt, they close down. Companies that take loan from that cannot have bankrupt. So it rippled and went in the whole world. But Islamic banks are prevented in the first place from dealing with debt or the sale of debt. So they survived.
So they survived. Okay.
And from that time, people started understanding,
thinking that look, there's
an alternative. Because conventional finance couldn't solve the greed issues of the managers. But Islamic finance is able to solve it in the first place, whereby you are unable, it is not allowed to go and get someone who is not credit worthy to come for a loan. That's the first aspect. The second aspect is the person even comes for the loan, selling that loan or sale of debt is forbidden.
Okay.
In Islam. So
repeat that again. First of all, they won't give it to someone who is not worthy of, or he's not eligible
to credit worthy. In other words, someone who is not eligible to pay back.
For instance, I'm working, I just have a salary of maybe 200 Ghana cedis or 300 Ghana cedis, and then I'll come to the bank and say, the bank should
buy a house of 2 million Ghana cedis.
Okay. So Islamic financing way, they will say, no, you are not eligible, and they won't give it to you.
That's it. And you know why? In Islam among in Sharia, Islam has serious concern on debt. To the extent that when a person dies, the Prophet ﷺ, before he even prays on the person, he has to ask whether the person has a debt.
Is he indebted?
Conventional finance has so much love for debt because through that they can create more interest.
Okay.
And that's where they breathe and eat through that.
Okay.
Islamic finance discourage debt, is more asset based. In other words, you can only deal with or sell something that you own, that you have. Debts are discouraged. A debt is so much discouraged. Of course, we only go for the debt when is issue of necessity. And necessity in Islam means darura. Okay. And darura or necessity means issues of survival. That's something that when you don't do is going to affect your own life. And protection of life is part of the 5 main objectives of the Sharia.
Very good, Prof. So if it becomes the issue of necessity, how does the bank come in there to hold on to the person who's necessarily need that debt or something that hitherto the Islamic bank will know, the Islamic financial institution will not give him. Yes. But here there is darura. How does the bank deal with that?
Exactly. In this case, if the necessity is there and he cannot have a person in the community to help him,
yes,
he can go for something we call Qarb Hasan.
Qarb Hasan.
Qarb Hasan. Okay. Qarb Hasan is more of like
interest-free loan.
Interest-free loan.
Okay.
Friendly loan.
Yes.
Interest-free loan.
Yes.
Because you are in need. But if the person going to give you the interest-free loan is willing to enjoy from his own principle, then there are other options that you can go into, other options of contracts, like entrepreneurship. Instead of giving the money to you, I would rather say I will enter into contract with you, go do the money, use the money for your project or for your investment. The profit accrued from there, we share according to a PSR, profit sharing ratio.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
And that is one option. There are many other options. So back to my conclusion.
Yes.
I think my conclusion is becoming
before
literature.
I'm still having some comments here. Right. Because I'm interested that the reason why, you see, a lot of the time it's out there that Islam, if you just have to follow the Islamic principle, you will not be wealthy, you will not be able to, generate revenue.
Thank you very much.
And you will not be
for saying that.
I think Islam is against wealth generation.
Yes.
But before you hold on that and you conclude on that, I have a couple of messages here to read, Prof. This one says, MashaAllah, from Abdul Halik. It says, I'm enjoying the program. Thank you, Abdul Halik. It's another one says it is Husseini from Satema.
Is it from Ghana?
He has not mentioned the place.
Because I think that's my supervisor.
Oh, okay.
From Malaysia.
Okay. So another one says here it's Husseini from Satema, Zongo. Is it Zinga or Zongo? Wish Max TV and Islam Today a happy Juma Mubarak. The other one says, I'm Portia. I just want to say hello to my supervisor, Prof Naail.
Oh.
You are the best.
Okay.
Prof. Okay, you're getting that from Portia. Assalamu alaikum, Prof. I'm really enjoying the program. Another one here says, good morning. I'm very overwhelmed with your program. My question is, do you have ghosts in Islam? That's a very interesting question. This is that is somebody died and appear somewhere. Do you have that in Islam? That is from Adam Abdul. Thank you very much, Adam, for that question. Another one says, God richly bless you, host, for bringing such intellectual discussion and such intellectual man and of wisdom. I'm not a Muslim, but I apply my heart and agree with all that Prof is saying. There are programs that need huge sponsorship or huge sponsors, or these are programs that need huge sponsorship. God bless you and give you sponsors to manifest the glory of God on Ghana and beyond. This is from Gideon, from Maal. Assalamu alaikum. Another one says, Imam, thanks for today's topic. We are really learning a lot. Jazakallah khair. This is from Mariam al-Rashidi. And then the last one says, Assalamu alaikum. My name is Salma. I just want to say I really enjoyed today's program. May Allah bless you for your efforts. Jazakumullah khair. Thank you very much for sharing. Prof, they are all greetings, but I think that the other one, the only one who spoke about the quest for
Islam is not maximizing wealth.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that is a very usual comment that comes, that if you go through the Islamic way of banking or Islamic finance, you will not be able to have more money because you will not be able to do a lot of transactions that are dealing in interest and you cannot get more money.
Okay, yes.
But the answer is very simple. Who gives you the money? Allah.
That's deep.
You are a vicegerent.
That's deep.
And for that matter, Allah gives wealth.
No.
1 Ghana cedi that you have, that is a blessed 1 Ghana cedi, is much more better than 1,000 Ghana cedi you have, which is not worth it.
No.
And we see it all the time in our community and our society.
Absolutely.
Someone in our community, in our society, sells Gujia granules, and is able to send all her children to the university.
Yes.
And they become doctors and lawyers. There is another person who is a rich person.
Who has a company.
Is a rich person who couldn't even have any of his children to inherit him.
To succeed him.
And therefore, it's not all about maximizing wealth like in the conventional finance or in the conventional capitalism, but it's rather about the values within it.
Yes.
If you get the values properly and get the values right, whatever you have, if you do it on the side of God, the side of Allah, and God blesses it for you, is much better. So when you look at Islamic financial transactions, who even said that Islamic transactions, when you go with it, you don't have enough funds? You don't have enough time. I will have gone into the statistics to let you know the wealth and the assets that Islamic banks have compared to the conventional banks.
We don't have that time. But probably you can give us, in your roundup, you can give us these, some of the countries, for instance, where these things have applied and what you are talking about.
Exactly. Look at Saudi Arabia.
Okay.
Look at Malaysia.
Okay.
Look at Pakistan.
Okay.
Even Bangladesh.
Okay.
Bahrain. UAE, United Arab Emirates.
Okay.
These countries are among the forefronts who are applying Islamic finance. And currently, UK, United Kingdom, when Cameron was the Prime Minister. He mentioned it clearly that he wants United Kingdom to be a hub of Islamic finance.
I see.
Now, why would a non-Muslim think that Islamic finance will have that kind of trajectory to the extent that they will want to be the hub?
Okay.
That should tell you there is something there.
Yes.
And you see, when we talk of profit maximization, Islam is not against profit maximization.
I think you did mention this some time ago.
Before, yes.
And I think that concept needs to be made clear.
Islam encourages profit maximization within the limits of Sharia.
Okay.
When you are happy in Islam, Islam is not against happiness. Islam is not against entertainment. But you should be happy or entertain yourself within the tenets of Sharia.
So you shouldn't entertain yourself at the expense of somebody else's suffering.
For example, you're going here, you're entertaining yourself in your house, and you're making so much noise that your neighbor cannot sleep. That is forbidden in Islam.
No.
And it's one of the harsh, I should say, you get one of the harsh punishments. That there are 7 people, according to one hadith, who will not be under the shadow in the judgment day when the sun is very, very scorchy and very hot. All others will find shield except 7 people. One of them is someone who is hurting the neighbor to the extent that the neighbor curses him. And even when you are reading Quran or when you are reading a hadith or you are doing ibadah, get up to pray, and you do it to the extent that you are hurting a neighbor who is a non-Muslim, it's forbidden in Islam. That is the value Islam puts on the issue of public interest. So back to the issue I was talking about.
Yes.
When it comes to maximizing of wealth, you can maximize your wealth, but not at the expense of the public, and not at the expense of someone being harmed. Why do we say maisir or gambling is forbidden in Islam?
Yes.
Because in gambling, anyone's win is someone's great loss. In profits, anyone's win or anyone's profit is his own risk that he has taken.
Okay.
That says al-ghurum al-kharaj bil-daman. Kharaj bil-daman means any profit you accrue that came out of your own risk and hard work is okay. But anytime you realize with gambling, you accrue whatever you accrue at the expense of any risk that you have taken, and someone else is losing.
It's losing.
And if someone loses, what happens is the person is sad.
Yes.
The person is angry.
Yes.
What does anger lead to?
Yes.
Chaos in the community, chaos in the society.
So the football betting that is going on,
It's haram, it's forbidden.
Can you just share this with the viewers, because brothers, in fact, they are the hub of those sports are in the Zongos.
Exactly, and it's forbidden. It's clear-cut forbidden because your win is someone's loss, and someone's loss. I mean, someone's win is your loss. If you want to know why it's forbidden,
so the forbidden, let's use it for our brothers to know. The forbidden means what?
It's haram. It's haram. Haram means.
So, please,
let me say it like that.
Can you run that in Hausa? Because this issue about betting,
yes,
Prof, is really, really an eyesore.
Exactly.
So please, can you tell them in Hausa?
Yes.
This betting thing.
Exactly. Abin da muke batun shi ne nan batun Islamic Finance. Shine a ce sai da sayarwa da ake wato muka same shi na musulunci. Ya sha bamban da na conventional. Shine kamar na shi mu ce wanda ke nan dama over 300 years.
Yes.
The banks na muka sani saboda akwai riba, sannan akwai wani abu da muke ce ma gambling, maisir cikin larabci. Amma English ana ce mishi gambling, Hausa kuma sha ce mishi caca. To kagan caca na cikin abubuwan da ya bar aka haramta wato conventional banking, aspect in conventional banking. Amma shi ne ke wato caca ma cikin zongo nunu yake.
Sosai.
Shi ga an zo wato football bet ko?
Football bet.
Wai football bet. Shi ga
mun samu ma yanzu wasu musulman mu ma suna, wasu musulman mu they are related to advertising it.
Not only advertising it, even some of our students, the fees, the money, last semester we had an issue in Kenya University. Couldn't akabash. Yeje fees. Yeje bets. Aka teach one number bank couldn't. Yezo musu case. Yezo zama father harat of till kako so case.
Subhanallah.
Let me say it in English so people understand better.
Yes.
You know, the issue of gambling, the bets is
round it up because our time is
right, in the sense that you know, some students even use their own fees to go and bet. And we had the similar issue before, that this student uses his fees to go and bet, he lost the game, and then he wants to go and argue about whatever, and he got stabbed. And what does it lead us to? So it's something that we discourage the youth, especially in Islam, the Muslim youth.
Prof, you have 2 seconds. So Islamic finance, as you said, it does not frown on, you know, maximizing your wealth, but not at the expense of somebody else's.
Yes, not somebody else's loss, and not at the expense of the public interest and
your
the
final
social
word.
order.
Your final word, Prof.
Yes. Yeah, my final word is Islamic finance is there to provide an alternative for conventional finance for the challenges that are inherent within the conventional finance. God willing, inshallah, next week we're going to go in detail.
Jazakallah
to Islamic finance.
Quickly, I have about 2 messages that I have to read before we leave, because I will not be just to them if I leave it here. Assalamu alaikum. We say Islam. In Islam, we understand that borrowing money to someone and demanding interest is riba. Just want to know if the investing in banks in order to gain interest is also another form of riba. Of course, I mean, particularly in the conventional bank. I think Prof has said this. Abdul Malik, thank you very much from Keseman. Assalamu alaikum. Another one says, I am Osman from Tishin. I love you, Prof. He says he loves you, Prof.
Thank you.
That's what the Prophet said. He says, when you love somebody, tell him that I love you for the sake of God. Amen. I'm enjoying your show and very educative, said Yakubu Al Hassan. Tariq Osman says, we the youth of Tofa Zongo community are very proud of you, Prof. Assalamu alaikum. Please ask, ask Prof whether forex trading is haram. Can forex trading be haram?
It can. There are issues within it. Forex trading
generally is not haram. Yes. It's not haram. Forex generally is not haram, but there are issues there.
There are issues in there.
I'll bring Prof back to talk about this, because haram is something that the Muslims just say it, but sometimes we don't even understand the implication. But inshallah, we'll come back. Thank you all of you for sending your messages. I'm not able to read all, but inshallah, we will bring back this topic of Islamic finance and the aspect of the aspect of the objective or higher objective of Islam in, you know, revenue generation to Muslims, so that Muslims shouldn't think that no, some other person should generate the wealth and we shouldn't. Inshallah, we will continue this discussion with Prof. If Prof has time the following weeks, inshallah. Stay tuned to Max TV. Islam Today continues. Don't go away.